Alcohol Beyond This Point podcast.
This isn't two podcasters talking business. This is two business guys trying to podcast.
So we just spent what felt like 5 hours, but was legitimately 2 hours.
Hour and a half.
Okay. Trying to set up a third mic, and it didn't even work. We didn't even get it done.
Yeah, so I'm talking to you from the other side of a tin can.
So,
but if Willows does his job correctly, this will all sound beautiful right now. And you can already tell that he has messed it up because he is so loud.
You can already tell. Hold on. Bear with us. We're trying to do this new... we just got a new board. What is it called?
Mixer.
And we're learning how to use it. So please bear with me. Welcome back to Alcohol Beyond This Point, the podcast where we debate business topics, both sober and then drunk, to see if we come to the same conclusions. Today we have I don't want to say guest, because you feel like family to me.
That's adorable.
Big Z, King Zoppa, Kristian Zoppa, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.
He's really quiet.
Well...
I'm a quiet talker. We already established this.
You're max now.
Okay, one thing with these mics is you have to eat it.
I know. My lips are on it. I'm touching it.
He's like, my mustache is in the foam.
It is. And I'm talking directly into it like you're supposed to. Dude, I was on the radio. I know all about...
Yeah, he actually had a ska radio show.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny is he's come full circle because he had shoulder length hair and a gross mustache.
I never had a mustache before, to be honest.
Okay, but then he went clean cut businessman, and now he's back to shoulder length hair and a weird mustache. I remember when he used to roast me for having facial hair.
It's a full, it is a full mustache.
Yeah, I like it.
The camera can pick it up all the way across the room, so it's obviously a full mustache.
If you're watching the video version of this podcast on youtube.com/Willows, you can see Zoppa's bad mustache.
It almost looks like a mirror image of Willows on each side. Because Willows always sits there. Someone's going to tune into this show and be like, wow, Willows looks so different. And they're going to look over for me and there's going to be that. It's going to be great.
I'm wearing a three-piece suit again because I was on the news all day today.
Yeah, gray, pink, and white with a black toque. I don't know how that's a three-piece suit.
Okay, well the toque, the toque is the third piece. I was on the radio on CBC Radio, and then I was on TV for a bit, just roasting the provincial government because we're getting locked down for COVID again for what seems like the 100th time, but I think is the 4th time, and everyone's fucking sick of it at this point. And their support programs are not very good. And I was just basically roasting them. So that was fun.
Do elaborate. What was your hot take?
Oh, I was just basically calling them... I said they were insultingly low, the amounts they were offering.
So what are the amounts? You were telling me earlier, so for 9 employees or less, they're offering a one-time $3,000 grant for effectively shutting down half of your business.
Yeah, exactly what you said.
Which is a joke.
Yes.
And then what's the other levels to it?
It's like these people have never run $3,000 for a 9-employee business. It's like, oh, great, that'll get me through Tuesday.
Well, I retweeted.
Yeah, it's one day.
I retweeted the announcement and I said, great, I'm good for December. This is the 22nd of December today. I said, good, we're great for December. I'm saved. But I don't know, man. I'm, obviously, if you know me, I'm not a very huge government guy, and I don't like government supports in general, but, at a certain point, you can't just lock us down and not let me make money and then also not give us any supports, right? Fuck off.
There's obviously the health aspect to it and the risk factor and all of that, but you're exactly right in that if they're going to shut down 50% of your business because they're limiting everything to 50% capacity... there needs to be more support. And you and I both don't want free handouts, but we just want to be able to run our businesses. Yeah. Now, in my case, it doesn't affect me as much as it does you because they were literally
You're an essential.
We're quote unquote essential.
Well, my manufacturing and sales is essential, but my bar obviously isn't. I remember when that came down. That was pretty funny. When I literally, we got the call that was like, yep, Palliser's office was like, yeah, we made liquor essential. Didn't say you have to stay open, but they're like, can you please keep your store open, like basically. So I'm like, oh, that's cool. But yeah, it's funny that like South Africa during this whole thing, they made liquor illegal because they think liquor gets people together. So make it illegal. Canada was like, no, that shit's essential. You can't not have alcohol.
Yeah, you can't have these bastards at home sober. Bad idea. So I think it's interesting that you have the take. Well, objectively, I know why, but you have the take of you're pissed off with the current situation, but not because I hate lockdowns. Fuck the government. It's lockdowns are a valid response to what's happening, but that needs to come with support. Like, I think you have more of a nuanced view. Most people are just like, fuck lockdowns, fuck the government, fuck Palestine, fuck masks, right?
No, and I said in the interview, like, obviously I want to put people's health first. Like, that's, I care about my employees and my customers.
Which is probably why you got the interview.
Yeah. I think I'm on like a list of correspondents because I know I'll give good sound bites. Which is good.
So they always call you.
Yeah, which is good. Like I feel fucking feels good. But especially because the radio interview I did today, they just threw me on with the CEO of the Chamber of Commerce. I didn't know he was going to be on the call.
No prep or anything?
No prep. Yeah, I never prep for anything. Fuck it. But sometimes they're like, oh, do you want the questions in advance? I'm like, whatever. Like, I'll figure it out. But yeah, man, I don't know. It's just like, because here's the thing is that if they just close small business and we all go under, all that's left is megacorps. Like the Walmarts and the Costcos, that's all that's going to be left. And that's like not even an unrealistic thing to say. You know what I mean? Like that was like, and it's funny because 2 years ago, I remember there being like right-wing conspiracy theorists being like, the government's trying to fucking put all small business out of business so they can fucking, have Amazon own everything. And it's kind of happening. So, I don't know, man.
It's been happening forever. It just, it just got like a nudge down the road a little bit faster. There's nothing new about anything that's happening. It's just being accelerated.
He's fucking capitalist, eh?
Capitalism.
So so you're
we'll go to that next.
Sure.
So where does the money come from then?
What?
So
dude, I pay fucking 53% tax to personal income tax. Where the fuck?
Okay,
what else are they spending my money on? How about instead of giving money to fucking Israel, they give me the money?
Perfect. That's what I want you to elaborate on.
Yeah, look, because the kind of shit.
Palestine flag.
Palestinian flag. No, like our country, obviously we don't spend the same amount on the military that the United States spends, but we still do spend billions and billions of dollars. If you recall, Prime Minister Stephen Harper spent like $10 trillion over 30 years on fighter planes that never flew. Like the program just never, like whatever. It's like, that's a fuck ton of money, right? Like we waste so much money. Like we could defund the RCMP 95% and they would still have the same crime solving rate. And we could just give that money back to business owners. Like we could completely abolish the military and nothing would happen because it's Canada. And we could give that money back to business owners and put it into the economy and give it to the people. Like there's so much money out there that's just pissed away by the government that could be reallocated.
Yeah, like how about some business subsidies we hand out to, multi-million-dollar corporations who just pay it out in bonuses?
Yeah, fucking Trudeau gave tens of millions to Loblaws to put in like high efficiency fucking fridges or whatever. Fuck off. Like, yeah, no, the money can be there. 100%.
Understandable.
I don't know. I was gonna ask on the topic of complete global economic downfall. That also
my favorite topic.
That also ties in heavily to global warming is another thing that we have to worry about.
Mm-hmm.
How are you? You're in the snow removal business. Ironically, or not ironically, I guess, but you actually do more in gross sales than both of us.
Really?
Than both Tyler and I, yeah.
Tyler too?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I mean, I'm second year, so.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah, you can say numbers if you want, but You don't have to if you don't want to. Yeah,
we'll get into it.
Most of our listeners are American, so nobody.
Yeah, we'll get into it.
Yeah, for sure. But you do a lot, and you have a lot of people working for you. But your entire business relies on there being snow to remove.
Yeah, so we do lawn care and snow removal. Obviously, it's a weather-based business. A lot of what we do revolves around the weather, especially in the winter. So we're constantly watching the weather and seeing what's going to happen. And it's in the winter, it's a reactionary business. Obviously, we can be prepared, but it's a reactionary type business. We wait for something to happen and then we go out and make it happen. In terms of global warming, though, and I mean, I don't know the science behind anything, and I just know from personal experience of extreme attentiveness to the weather over the past 5 or 6 years. The winters here specifically in Winnipeg have gotten significantly less snowy over the past few years.
I think colder though.
Relatively.
Yeah.
Not a crazy amount. I remember colder weather when I was young, but we've seen a lot less snow, a lot less moisture. Obviously, the past 2 years have been a crazy drought.
Insane drought. Yeah, it's fucking my crops. You've heard me rant about this too much on this podcast.
Yeah, insane drought, which impacts us in the summertime as well. Obviously, if grass isn't growing, there's less work. So yeah, the impacts of that have actually been relatively substantial. And I mean, from our point of view, most of our work is monthly on contract, so we get paid regardless if we go out or not. So it's kind of nice, but at the same time, the struggle with that is you want to go out roughly 1 or 2 days a week on average to keep your guys busy and keep them employed and paid through the winter. Otherwise, you're constantly turning over staff.
Yeah,
because
it's
a struggle for the staff. It's a struggle for us.
Because you might be laughing if there's no work to do and you're getting paid on contract.
Yeah.
But then if all your guys are like, okay, well, then you're not fucking paying me.
I need to find another job. Yeah. So yeah, like ideally we'd go out once a week for say 4 inches of snow. We'd go out once a week and then we would haul snow and do scrape downs and do commercial work for a few extra days. And it keeps the main guys busy for 3 or 4 days every week. That would be the ideal scenario. The real world scenario is we go out maybe once a week right now for the past few weeks. And it seems like the past few years, and this once a week that we're going out is for just a few hours to deal with whatever for like 3 or 4 hour shift. And we're calling in 2 people instead of the full staff, right? It's completely different. And it seems like the past few years, we get one major snowfall at some point in the season, usually around December. This year it happened to be in November. It looks like there is another one coming in a few days. So
I was going to say the next 6 days is supposedly just snow. So
yeah. And then after that, it's just the odd little inch here and there. Nothing crazy, which is wild.
Title of my sex tape.
Yeah. The odd little inch.
The odd inch here and
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, I like, it's an interesting, I always like talking to people in different industries because it's interesting how they deal with like the pandemic and not only that, but like going forward, right? Like we're kind of doomers, Tyler and I. Like we're kind of like,
so am I.
The world is fucked.
It is.
Society is not coming back from this.
This is a relatively new development as well.
So yeah. I'm not complete doomsdayer. Like I'm not a prepper.
We're cheerful nihilists.
We were just talking about prepping yesterday, actually.
Okay. Okay. I'm not a prepper yet, but there is a major economic downturn incoming.
Well, we have friends making their own ammo and shit. Like,
okay, that's a whole thing. Yeah, that's like, next level. Prepper.
We're not that bad. Like I still like here's my opinion on this. Is I don't think society is just gonna fucking collapse and we're gonna go like warlords and shit. I don't think that's gonna happen. I think humans are relatively resilient, and the ones that aren't resilient are just will complacent. We'll just go with the flow, right? I don't think we're ever gonna see like fucking Fallout universe, like apocalypse,
I don't
whatever.
Think so either.
But I can definitely see our quality of life being significantly affected.
I honestly don't see that. I think the biggest effect we'll see is sort of a mirror of 2008. We'll see rates go up. Housing will become unaffordable. I mean, housing is unaffordable as it is. But with interest rates going up, everybody who does have a house who can hardly scrape by and just is making their payments right now will not be able to afford it.
Yeah, add 6% inflation on top of that.
Yeah.
Are you just about to renegotiate your mortgage terms?
We either just did it or it's coming up in like 3 months.
I was going to say it should be about 5 years, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Either we just did it or it's like 3 months away. It's one of the two.
Well, it's a nice if you can lock in at 5 years at fucking this percent.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
That'd be awesome.
Because at the end of the next five years, it'll be 16% interest rates on mortgages.
When my parents bought a house, it was 18%.
Yeah, exactly. It was credit card rates on mortgages.
Yeah, and they paid off their house in 6 years by putting 75% of their income towards it because they were fucking paying 18% on their mortgage.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
But also their mortgage as relation to their annual income would have been a drastically different number.
Yeah. I think they bought their house for 100 G's and they were each making 60.
Wow.
Might not have been that.
This would have been 1980.
They were making 60 in 1980?
They were teachers.
Oh, no. Then they were not making 60.
Teachers make 60 now.
Hardly.
Depends what you're teaching.
Depends on tenure. But, anyways, either way, the ratio would have been far more generous.
I'm pretty fast and loose with my number estimates.
Yeah, clearly.
Often.
Clearly.
I'm like, it's like $1 billion. He's like, dude, it was like 10 million. I'm like, what? I'm pretty fast and loose with my numbers. This is not the numbers podcast. I say that every fucking episode.
If you're coming for facts, fucking leave. Yeah, I hate the listener.
I'll often fact check just Tyler on the screen of the video. Like I'll put
nice in the edit after the
fact, and then not fact check myself.
Perfect. Makes you look good.
Yeah. You want to try this? I don't like this beer.
Really?
I don't know why I buy stouts. I hate them.
School me as a guy who has 300 cans of beer at home right now, but knows nothing about beer. I told you we were getting paid in beer for one property.
No, you were telling me that.
Okay.
You were telling me that.
I don't know if I want to say the name on air.
Don't say the name on air.
Okay, yeah. So there's one property that we're getting paid in beer for. Anyways,
because he asked me if I knew the owner or whatever, and I'm like,
yeah.
And then he's like, oh yeah, we do their lawn care and they pay us in beer.
So I've got 300 cans of beer at home, and I know nothing about fancy hipster beer.
And I said, bring him on the fucking podcast. He's like, oh shit, I should have done that.
Yeah, I should have brought a case.
Yeah.
Anyways, school me on beer right now, because you said stout. I don't know what that means.
So a stout's typically a darker beer,
like a lager.
No, a lager is typically a lighter beer.
Oh, what?
A lager is like the lightest.
Like
a lager is the lightest.
A Bud Light is a lager.
Really?
Yeah, lagers are typically high carbonated, lighter.
So that's my type of beer.
Yeah.
Okay.
You'd like lagers. They're quicker to ferment, I think. I don't make beer. I make wine,
they're longer to ferment, cheaper to make.
Right.
Oh,
they're cheaper
because you need to have.
It's economies of scale. Lagers don't frequently work for small microbreweries.
Yeah.
It's expensive for a microbrewery to make a lager, but massive breweries like Ultra or whatever, they can make a lot more profit making a lager because they save money on the ingredients in the process. All you need is more tank space and more time, which they have in abundance. Yeah. So lagers are typically found in macro, and then
you know what's funny? If you go to England and you sit down at a bar. And
they have a light beer and a dark beer, right?
Well, you say, give me a beer. They'll give you a warm, dark beer at room temperature. That's how you're supposed to drink them.
And that's not a lager. That would be
no. And if you want a cold carbonated beer, you say, give me a lager.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
But they, that's why English milds and a lot of dark, Guinness. Guinness you're supposed to drink at room temperature.
Okay, so what's a stout then?
It's a style of beer. It's darker, usually coffee kind of notes.
Okay. Heavier,
yeah.
Hoppier?
I wouldn't say hoppier.
Okay. So what about the really hoppy
Those are usually
beers?
India Pale Ales.
Okay.
IPAs. Double IPAs, northeastern IPAs.
Dry hopped
IPA. Yeah, but IPAs typically India Pale Ale are
those are the ones that it's
super
really acquired taste.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
Okay. What's the one you're drinking there? The Bikey McBike Face.
That's a grapefruit lager.
Yeah, this is a lager. Yeah.
That's a lager. Okay.
Yeah, it's
that one's pretty good.
I like it a lot. It's half grapefruit juice not half. So a radler is half grapefruit juice, half.
But it could be any juice, right?
Half lager. No, has to be grapefruit.
Oh, really?
So
to be a radler.
To be a radler, yeah.
Okay.
So here's the story about radlers, how they were invented is awesome. So if you'll notice, there a lot of radlers have bicycles on the label. They incorporate bicycles into the label. It's because
Kind of hence Bikey McBikeface. This is
grapefruit. Yeah. Because it was invented by a German Olympic bicycle coach, and the people he was training
helped with cramps or something.
No. Instead of drinking water, they were drinking beer. Because they were German Olympians.
wasn't so safe.
And they were getting wasted before he could finish the fucking training. So he's like, okay, fuck you guys, and watered down their beer with grapefruit juice. So they wouldn't get as drunk.
And also
interesting.
Electrolytes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
The added bonus.
Yeah. Because he was like, he wasn't going to stop them from drinking alcohol. He was just going to make them drink less alcohol.
I heard an alternative story of it was bicycle messengers, like mailmen, that would they would drink beer all day while doing their runs to like stay hydrated and stay cool. But because whatever, the water wasn't super reliable, especially like in a canteen, whatever, all day long, they didn't want warm water, so they would have this beer, and then they started adding. Or I don't know, some guy, whatever, started adding grapefruit juice for like the electrolytes and the extra hydration, so that he could actually, get through a day without being dehydrated and drunk as fuck.
Yeah, who knows? It might be all folklore. Who the fuck knows? But,
interesting.
Yeah, that's what they say. If you're traveling and you're in a weird country, you don't trust the water, drink beer.
Yeah.
Just buy low alcoholic beer, because if the beer is bad, you'll know, like it'll taste bad. But if the water is bad, you get fucking giardia and die.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
Harrison Ford shooting Indiana Jones was the only person not to get like dysentery because he only drank beer. He didn't drink water for the entire shooting of the movie. He didn't drink a drop of water. He just drank alcohol.
Wow.
And he was the one person of the entire film crew, support staff, and actors that didn't get sick.
I heard a story about on Indiana Jones, I think Temple of Doom, where the guy's in the street like waving the sword and he does like a 2-minute like sword thing, and then Indiana Jones just fucking shoots him. That was actually ad-libbed because he had like diarrhea or something because from traveling. He didn't want to do the fucking sword fight that he was supposed to do, so he just whipped out the prop gun and went like boom, and then they're like, that's funny, and then they like put it in the movie.
So we've got IPAs, stouts. What were the other ones? Lagers.
There's like 1,000 styles of beer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sour's another.
I'm a big sour beer fan myself.
Is that when it's mixed with something?
No. You ferment it using different yeast.
It's more like an IPA though, right?
No, I wouldn't say so. Depends on the style.
I mean, like in terms of process.
Yeah, I think think like yogurt. How you use like yeast, or not yeast, but like bacteria go sour.
Yeah.
Same kind of thing with the beer. And it makes it a sour taste. And I'm a big sour. Yeah, I'm a big sour.
Some are a little sour, some are very sour.
Definitely a economic downturn incoming.
Yeah,
you can't print that much money and not have.
We're gonna see 5 or 6, 7, 8% inflation every single year for the next while,
until there's a crash, or
no. This is gonna this is gonna cause the crash in part.
Okay, so I don't think we're gonna see it for years because I think
we're seeing it right now. We had 6% inflation this year.
I never disagreed with that. I know that's true. Also, those are the manufactured inflation numbers. The real numbers like 20% in the States. Well, but they report 6.1, whatever.
Well, inflation's a man-made tax.
I know. I don't think it's going to be 3 or 4 years till we see anything major. I think it's going to be well before then.
My prediction is between 1 and 3.
We're seeing it right now.
I think so. Here's the sentiments. I listen to a lot of like stock market updates and stuff.
Alex Jones.
Good one.
Alex Jones is great though, but it's just funny.
It's good market information. Well, the globalists.
Globalists are making the frogs gay.
people talking about next year, like how much gas is in the tank for the markets next year.
Yeah.
And
0.
the most optimistic thing that I've heard is like there's going to be a lot of headwinds. I think it's going to end higher than it is at the beginning of the year. But here's all the things that are going to go wrong. Like it's interest rates, it's slowdown, it's more lockdowns, it's fucking name a thing. Here's you name like
SPY puts. All you need to do is buy SPY puts. You're golden.
You just need to buy WillowsCoin and then you're fine.
SPY puts and shares of GameStop, and you will be golden, bro.
You made a bunch of money on GameStop, didn't you?
Yeah.
Because you're a Redditor. We could say.
Heavily, yes.
Heavily Redditor.
Me and Willows talk shit, but Zoppa backs it up with cash.
Yeah. Yeah, you made a bunch of money on the fucking when they
not as much as some other people I know, but and honestly not a lot. And did not time the top, but also still am all in GameStop in my Quest trade account.
My fucking GameStop is still, I bought at like the peak. I'm still up.
That's not possible.
Okay,
but
not the peak. But like, you know what I mean. Like well after
on the way up.
Well after it was news.
Yep.
And I'm still up.
Yeah.
It didn't crash. Like,
because the joke is the institutional investors had to then buy in because they were getting short squeezed, and now big money's in, dumb money's in, all the money's in, and it's not going out.
Exactly.
It's unkillable.
It's 99% buy, 1% sell if you look at it on any given day. There is I don't want to go down the rabbit hole, but I'm still super extremely bullish on GameStop. And I know it's memes, but I'm extremely goddamn bullish on GameStop still.
Dude, one of my
you have no idea. Like I'm not kidding when I say my Quest trade account is 100% GameStop right now. Like,
so my
and SPY puts occasionally, but sorry to cut you off.
My two new employees are both I don't know, they're fucking hilarious. They started doing, they're both into sports betting and like chess and
stuff.
Yeah, and like meme stocks and
let's go
whatever. So they started betting like over-unders on just random shit during the workday. Like, over-under, Branton's gonna show up before noon. And it's like 7-1, you're down. 100 Satoshis? Yep. And they're just like betting Satoshis. And now they're both on it. They got this fucking like the Shake Pay app.
Oh my god.
Where you like shake for like a few Satoshis every day. He's been doing it for like 2 years. And he's like, I've netted like $400 on this fucking thing. And he just opens the app once a day, fucking shakes his phone like you're jerking off for a couple minutes, and then you get like a couple Satoshis. It's hilarious. But yeah, they're using those Satoshis to like over-under bet on a bunch of shit, and it's so funny.
People right there.
Yeah,
I'll just like walk in on these guys, and they're fighting about something. It's fucking hilarious. But the one guy is like talking about GameStop going to 100,000 a share. I was like,
okay, so
what?
So okay, if you look at the numbers, there is
okay, I like this start.
there's DD to back it up that we could see something absolutely insane like that, right? Like if you really dig into it and break everything down, but what happens is when you hit numbers like that, the entire economy collapses because we're talking about numbers that are just too big to exist,
which I love.
So you can't like reasonably expect that to happen, but what you can expect to happen is $1,000 a share or $2,000 a share. And I mean, that's kind of where I see it going. And I mean, okay, so right now, say it's $1.60, $1.70, 170 USD per share. As an actual value stock, its real world value should be at $2.50. So just as a value stock buy.
Really? Because they're a dying industry.
They're not, though.
Who goes to fucking game stores with like Steam?
Tons of people go to GameStop, but also they are innovating their e-commerce side.
Because I'll just buy shit on Steam, and if I want a physical game for like a collector's edition or something, you buy it on fucking Amazon. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. They're fucking.
Well, okay. The other part of that is I don't think there is any GameStops in Winnipeg. There's EB Games, which is a subsidiary.
They own EB Games.
Yeah, and I think they're rebranding all EB Games to
rebranding
GameStop.
I think you're right with that.
But yeah, especially with all the hype around them right now, like it's insane.
Well, I think
there's no brand value to EB Games.
No, I think what happened is they bought a Canadian chain and then just kept the name.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it, like, look at the market cap, look at where they should be valued, look at their debt to equity ratio, look at their PE, like it all. $2.50 a share is reasonable, and at $1.70, that's a value.
Look
buy.
at this. You're reading about stock. We just line goes up
and to the right. That's all you need. Okay,
right.
so here's your DD. GameStop up and to the right. Buy now. Buy now.
I saw a TikTok that was like a guy. He's like, yeah, he's like, what was the biggest shock of your life? He's like, so my first day on Wall Street, after 6 years of school for trading, whatever, I got a job at a fucking giant firm. And I hand my boss, 30 pages of fucking stock analysis. Hey, we should buy and hold this. And he's like, kind of flips through it, looks at me and goes, why'd you do all this? Like, if it's going up and to the right, it's probably going to keep going up and to the right. If it's going down and to the right, it's going to keep going down and to the right. And he's like, what? And he's walked away. And this is like $1 billion hedge fund owner.
Yeah, it's crazy. The hedge funds in the States, and I don't know why. I really don't focus on Canadian economics or anything. I really only look at the States. But these hedge fund owners in the States have ridiculous salaries.
Well, yeah. Why would you own a hedge fund if you don't get
No, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I never really thought to look into it. And then last week, I think I was looking into it, and there's hedge fund owners making $1 billion a year managing hedge funds as their salary.
Yeah.
Like, I always thought a salary, okay, maybe 10, 20 mil, that's like average for a CEO.
Wasn't
it a bill?
Wouldn't it be
like
dumb?
A bill?
Isn't that dumb when you get fucked with taxes?
I think you get fucked either way.
I guess everyone pays their fair share of taxes. The one argument that pisses me off is that rich people don't pay their taxes.
That's a spicy
that triggers me, but
that's a spicy meatball right there.
You got to remember, depending on the state that these people are paying taxes in, it might not, their maximum bracket might not actually be that.
Delaware, baby.
Yeah, like it might not actually be as high as you think.
What do you think about Elon Musk selling 10% you wanted to pay?
So he sold 10%, but
because
then
of a Twitter poll.
Okay, but no.
I want to get in on this.
He sold whatever percentage of shares, right? And then he what's the word I'm looking for?
He called in his call.
Yeah. Exercise. That's the word I was looking for. So he exercised his options.
He shoulder pressed his options.
And ended up with more shares than he had before.
Which is
did
funny.
it really do anything?
Okay, no. So here's why you're both stupid.
Hit me.
Wait, hold on. Are you an Elon Musk fan?
Yeah.
Okay, I am.
What's wrong with Elon Musk?
Oh, yeah, I don't. He's fucking.
He just trolls everyone.
That's
great.
what I love.
Yeah. He memes all day.
Yeah.
Elon Musk is chaotic good. That's where I land.
Okay, yeah, chaotic good. Great, yeah.
He's like,
fucks with people.
Well, you wake up and you're like, look at your phone, you're like, oh wait, Elon Musk's is fucking Grimes? Okay, I guess so.
The world's richest man is memeing on Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah.
When he sent like a second place trophy to Jeff Bezos every time he passes him in stock. Like it literally every time he goes on Joe Rogan, he's just fucking around. Like, oh my god, I love it.
Okay, so with that in mind, all this hype around him selling stock and paying taxes, whatever, it's all fucking nonsense and bullshit because those options expired and he had to exercise the options. They expired. Like, he did not have a choice. When he, at the beginning of this year, like it was already disclosed, I don't know when they've sent this fucking information out, I guess, public company, right? So all this is available.
Early, right?
Yeah. So he had to exercise X amount of options this year by whatever December 31st, and it was going to happen. And then he did the Twitter poll, said, "Hey, should I sell 10% of my stake in my company?" Knowing he was already he had to. He did not have an option.
See, that makes me like him more.
He did a Twitter. He did it just for the fucking hype and for the media.
Because he knows the Wall Street fucking Journal will write an article. Elon Musk fucking deciding via Twitter poll.
Yeah. Exactly.
So the only shares that he cashed in and did not then, like, you can flip options for equity, right? So the only ones that he cashed in on was the minimum amount required to pay the tax bill for the gains on the ones that he kept. So that's the only ones that he liquidated. So he The only cash that he took was to pay the taxes on the equity gain, because he's the richest man in the world, but he has very, very, very low liquidity. He has virtually no cash.
Yeah.
He's all in equity,
that's how
right?
he's been since he was fucking 25 years old. Like.
But the thing is, if you're a billionaire, you walk into a bank, say, "Hey, I'm Elon Musk. Can I have a loan for $50 billion?" They're like, "Sure."
Yeah.
And then when the debt payment comes due, they're like, "Hey, can I have a loan for $20 billion to pay off this debt payment that I have for your $50 billion loan?" They're like, "Yeah, sure." So they operate on debt, so he never has liquidity. But when it comes to taxes and such, because these options are already working, whatever, it's a fucking accounting technicality.
But then the whole point was, he wanted to pay a fuck ton in taxes to get people off his back for not paying taxes. That was like part of it as well.
Well, no, he had no option.
Okay, but he's paying $10 billion
he's paying the minimum taxes he could possibly pay.
Isn't that what everyone does?
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. He's not doing something so that he can pay quote unquote his fair share. He's doing what he legally, contractually has to, no more, no less, and he's just making a media stink about it.
Which I like.
Yeah, so to be clear, this is not Elon being... This is not higher morality. This is not him, like, doing something for clout. He's not doing it for politics. He's, like, creating a conversation for politics. He's doing it because he has to.
Which makes Tesla's stock go up.
Yeah.
So
didn't it go down after that, though?
But it always goes down. And then he's like...
It always goes up and to the right, so we buy more
yeah.
Actually, the reason that...
Tesla always goes up and to the right.
And then it splits, and then it goes up and to the right.
I was going to buy Tesla at fucking 600.
Pre-split.
No, I was going to buy it because when he said he was going to take it private at 420.69.
Yeah.
I was going to buy after that whole FCC thing happened because there was a dip. And I'm like, how much higher could it possibly go? And it's 4x since then.
Yeah, it's like a 70x multiple or some fucking crazy shit like that.
More than that.
Dude, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
because it was a 5-to-1 split. It's more than 4x. That's like 6x.
Yeah, and I was going to buy, but I'm like, it can't go much higher.
Yeah,
that's fucked.
Yeah.
Well, at least Rivian's not...
I did buy Tesla at that point, actually.
At least Rivian's not overvalued.
Yeah, Rivian's not...
Rivian.
Rivian's worth more than Tesla.
Are they the ones that push the truck down the hill?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and they haven't delivered a vehicle yet, and
they don't have a vehicle. They pushed a truck down a hill as their demonstration.
Yeah. Yeah, because it didn't have an engine, I think.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point.
Couldn't you at least put like something in there?
No, and they're the most...
A Princess Auto battery-powered engine. Like, let's go.
Yeah. You have a guy in there in a go-kart, like, in the
Flintstoning it.
Yeah.
Literally anything.
And they're the most valuable automaker in the world.
No, they're not.
Tesla
is.
No, they were for, like...
Rivian was not close.
There's no way Rivian is
Rivian
close.
hit like 100 billion. Tesla's way bigger.
Tesla's market cap isn't not like a trill.
Yeah, Tesla's nearly $1 trillion. Rivian's like 100 billion. Like Rivian's a tenth.
And Rivian doesn't have a functioning vehicle. They have great Facebook ads.
They have the best multiple.
No, he was like... I remember on one episode, he was showing me the Rivian fucking trucks on Instagram, and you couldn't even see them in the pictures. They were like in the background. Like there's a bunch of like family in front of the fucking...
You know what? I was going to say this was Rivian, but this was Nikola I was thinking of.
Okay, yeah, Nikola.
Nikola's
pretty funny too, because they're just Nikola Tesla, right?
Their only revenue was from installing the concrete for their warehouse or something like that.
Yeah, Rivian's like...
Not an expense. They somehow got paid to install concrete or something, and that was their only revenue on their books.
Oh, I can tell you how to do that. No, Rivian's less than $1 million revenue.
Perfect, and they're worth $100 billion. I want to be that guy.
Do you?
No, I don't. I
kind of do.
But I would rug pull for sure. Like, morality aside, like, I would rug pull there for sure, dog.
So me and Willows actually had this conversation 3-4 episodes ago, where I'm like, you know, this is the fun about getting drunk on a podcast. I'm like, I started off with like, okay, I'm happy with my life decisions. I'm like, what if I sold out? I could sell out. And I'm like, I know the people to sell out to. I know how to sell out. I know the fucking language. I have an idea of how to do it and how to put, like, I could just raise a fuckload of money with no foundation.
And then disappear.
And pay myself a lot and just like graciously fail.
We know a lot.
I could
fail.
I could make a shitload of money, walk away clean.
Zoppa, we know a lot of the same people because the Winnipeg business community is pretty small. There's a couple people that have started businesses
and disappeared,
raised a ton of money, and then just failed and whatever, right? So he was basically going to say, like, yeah, how can I finesse money out of big investors? And then be like, sorry.
How can I pull a...
Because...
How did I hear that without you saying it?
Because if you in your heart believe that you were going to do it, but you just failed, that's not a scam.
No.
Technically.
Well, I mean, wait to see how the Holmes trials plays out, but
yeah.
So honestly, yeah, WillowsCoin though.
WillowsCoin, yeah.
This is the investment, guys. This is the investment of the future, man.
You can tell Zoppa spends time on Reddit.
Up and to the right, WillowsCoin is going to the moon. Get in now. It's not a pump and dump. I'm promising you, it's not a pump and dump. We aren't strategically pumping it right now, preparing to dump it. We don't dump. We just pump.
We just hodl.
It's a pump and pump. We're going up and to the right.
We just hodl. We never sell.
Let's.
I really want to start my own shitcoin.
Let's partner up. I do too. Okay. So we're transitioning here into the.
So which viewer suggested we take this shot? Because you said this is viewer suggested,
yes,
right?
Let me get there.
Okay.
This is the segment that we call Shot Caller, the part of the show where you, the audience, can pick the shot that we take. Today we're taking a shot of, you know it, you love it, it's a meme. Old Smoky Tennessee whiskey, habanero mango flavor.
What?
It's.
I thought it was peach.
No. Here we do. We do this with guests on purpose because you're not gonna fucking. It's gonna hit your palate in 7 different ways, and none of them.
Is it enjoyable or is it just awful?
So here's the thing. One time that we discovered this because he walked into the liquor store and he literally like asked, "What's the weirdest thing I can buy?" and came out with this. And the branding is awful. Tell me where it says the flavor.
I can't. I have my glasses on and I can't even see it from here.
It's terrible.
You know where it is?
Shout out Old Smoky. No, it says it on the front too. It's just you can barely fucking see it. Anyway, thank you, Old Smoky, for sponsoring this episode.
It smells like peach. I'm just gonna say, oh wow,
cheers.
you can't even see that habanero.
Yeah, exactly. Cheers. Thanks for being on the podcast.
Not looking forward to this one.
It's low percentage. It's got a little bit of bite.
So what's...
It's actually not terrible.
So all I get is the habanero burn. There's no whiskey there.
There's no whiskey. I can taste the mango.
And there's still 35%.
And the habanero's on the back of my throat, not on my tongue. Like, it's not burning me. It's just a mild tingling.
Yeah.
It's like the same as your Di Serono.
Yeah.
I like it. It's just the weirdest fucking...
This is whiskey. You're not supposed to tell them.
If you raw dog this without having drank anything before it, on just like a raw palate,
yeah, I can see that being awful.
It'll make you cough. It's pretty good. Okay, so on the note of
shitcoins,
let's go all on this topic. Okay.
So I don't think I've ever told you this, but my girlfriend's brother is a shitcoin day trader, like legend. I don't know what he's known online as.
He's in a bunch of pump and dump discords and telegrams, and
he's been doing it for 9 years.
This is what, a computer engineer by trade?
Yeah, he has like a fucking master's degree in computer science and is
early adopter to Bitcoin, early adopter to Ethereum.
He's been in shitcoins for 9 years. So so think about that context wise. So he's been in since like high school, and whatever summer money he could put into it, and he's like ridden some pretty good waves. So he's gotten the pump and dump strategy down pretty good, and this guy will just go into like a trading fugue state and sleep like 1 hour a night for an entire week, and he'll just fucking bomb all night, and he's doing 5-figure trades all night. And he does cybersecurity for a really big healthcare technology firm in Canada. So he's like their head security guy. So he makes like a good salary, and now he's married to a doctor. So this guy's just like fucking around. He doesn't need money. He drives a shit car, lives in a basic ass house. He doesn't cash out most of his stuff, and just like does it for fun. And like I see like the text updates of like, oh, I just made 40 grand. Oh, I just lost 20 grand. Like, it's so fucking funny. And this guy lives broke. So you would never know. But like, when I think shit coins and meme coins, like that is like...
Is not the perception.
That is who I think is the ideal, like that is the shitcoin investor that is gets it. He gets it.
Yeah.
The guy sitting on a fucking private jet going to Lollapalooza be
No,
like, yo, I just cashed in my Shiba.
When I think shitcoins, I think 17-year-olds in pump and dump discords
Because
talking
they
with their
get on-
buddies. Have you guys ever been in a pump and dump?
Oh yeah, it's no, and most
Discord?
most of the fucking admins on those know they're scamming people.
Yeah.
But they're just like, nope, we gotta do like this is how we do it. This is how we make money in this Discord. Everyone else gets fucked over. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the way he summed it up, he's like, I take kids' lunch money.
I've been in a few. Yeah, exactly. I've been in a few just to watch.
Yeah,
Where
I think I'm curious all the time.
it's interesting because if you invite enough people, you get to know about the pump and dump 2 seconds before everybody else, so you can time it better. And it's just literally last one out gets fucked.
Well, that's the whole.
And they go and they say, okay, tomorrow we're pumping this, or they don't tell you what coin, but they say tomorrow at 4 p.m. we're pumping a coin.
Yeah.
We're not going to tell you until 3:59 and 26 seconds.
Yeah.
And then you get to know, and then at 4 we dump. And, but they've been loading up. These people who run the Discords have been loading up for weeks on these shit coins and then just dump.
Manipulating people to
Yeah.
basically making them a bunch of money.
And they make fucking
Well,
bank,
that's
man.
what like Logan Paul did with his fucking feed the children coin or whatever, right? Like he had
the
this
children
coin that he so okay
It sounds awful.
sorry,
bro.
I don't want to slander. It was one of the Pauls. I don't remember which one, but one of the Pauls had this. It was like feed the children coin, where the idea was every certain amount of coins bought, they would like donate money to UNICEF to fucking feed children or whatever. That was the idea, but it was a pump and dump scam. And then when it fell apart, he was just like, oh, I don't know, bad programmers, they fucked it up. I don't know. But if you look at like FCC fucking filings, it's like, oh, he made $80 million on that shit. Or I don't know, that that's me being
that sounds like an
hyperbolic.
exaggerated number. Yeah.
But it was something like that. Google that shit. But that's the thing with these celebrities is they just have 36 million fucking Instagram followers, and they just say to their Instagram followers, buy this coin. Enough of them will do it that it will fucking raise the price. It's a dangerous,
100%.
it's a dangerous position.
Same thing
to
with
be in.
NFTs right now.
That's
with these
another-
YouTubers who come out with NFT projects. Gary V.
Yeah.
No hate on Gary V, but
I'm a
it's
big
just
Gary Vee fan.
Yeah,
but
it's just an example.
He
V-Friends.
He said he made like what $60 million on his fucking V-Friends or something. It's like fucking insane.
And Rogan just had Beeple on. Like, Beeple is a fucking grifter. Like, he may be an artist, but he's a grifter. Like,
Who's this?
Beeple is like this big NFT artist. So his he likes, I think he set the record for like highest sale of like an NFT, like 60 million or something.
Yeah,
So the person that bought, I think it's been sold since, but basically what got it up to that price, the person that bought it for that insane amount, or maybe it sold for like 40 million then 60 million or something like that. Basically the initial sale that got like exactly what you're describing, like the Discord pump and dump idea. He is directly associated with and co-owners of the corporation with the guy that bought it for 40 million.
Their own NFTs to raise the
price.
He
Bought his own NFT with a partner to get the price jumped, and then somebody else.
Actually, I shout out Karl Jost, whatever, on YouTube. He's this Australian guy. He's a speedrunner, video game speedrunner. So he like plays GoldenEye on the fucking N64. He has like world records for whatever. But so he makes like speedrunning videos. But he makes just video game industry, whatever, right? And he did a whole like 2-hour long YouTube video where he like fucking did investigative journalism basically, like, and had experts and shit, and like I think like CNN quoted him or something on this. But he basically, I don't know if he was the one that broke the story, but there's this game auction site that's associated with this game, because like I don't know if you saw the article recently. There was like a original Super Mario Brothers NES cartridge that sold for like millions, and it was like the first time a video game ever broke $1 million like sold. And I don't know if you know anything about like collecting Pokemon cards or fucking video games. There's a grading system, right?
Yep.
And there's these third-party companies that grade,
BGS and PSA.
Like F
PSA?
through A, and then like 1 through 5 or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So like A5 being the highest grade, and it's based on like if there's any scuffs on the Pokemon card, or is there any whatever the serial number, all the whatever. But you can go watch the video. But basically, this the people heavily associated with the grading company were also owners of like the auction house that was selling this shit. So they were like basically fraudulently grading stuff higher than it actually was and then selling it to themselves for $1 million, sending out a press release that said, holy shit, a game just sold for $1 million. And then they own the auction house. So when people come, they're like, oh, I guess games are worth a lot. They come by and then they buy inflated prices of stuff. They basically created a fake economy around it. And it got to a point, one of the partners of that auction house actually got on Pawn Stars. They called him in as like, oh, I know a guy that knows about video games, and they fucking call this guy. Apparently he paid a bunch for that opportunity, but that legitimized his company, like, because it like said the fucking auction house in his, fucking whatever, and his Chiron at the bottom of the screen and everything, and it was a whole thing. And it's like, I think they're being like investigated now for this shit because it's fraud.
Interesting,
right? You can't, it's interesting.
Well,
it's the same thing with they do it with art. In like billionaires would do that with art. They have a friend who evaluates art and that says, oh yeah, that painting you own is actually appreciated by $200 million.
Or you bought it from this artist for $300, but actually it's worth $200 million.
Or
like,
my favorite is you get your friend who's a art appraiser to say, oh no, it depreciated by $200 million. And then you write that off and you can make $200 million without paying taxes on it.
Capitalism.
This is basically what, like, do your own research on this, but I listened to a very recent, like, deep dive on NFTs, and it's like, this is just all the hype around it, the volume of the sales up and down. It's like all the upper, let's say 90% of the dollar volume of NFT trading is, less than 5% of NFTs traded. And
that makes sense.
Of those 5% traded that make up for 90% dollar volume, like 90% of those can be traced back to like human trafficking, organized crime, like warlords, tax evasion.
So
like
I don't
89% of NFT volume.
I don't want to dig into that. But
just
on the topic of NFTs,
all of us, I think, are on the board of the technology is good, the NFT art is dumb.
Yes, the profile pictures projects
the current
stupid.
hype, yeah.
The current use and the current hype around NFTs is stupid. The profile pictures are stupid. Bored Ape Yacht Club
we were
is
talking
stupid.
off camera about it, like
the fundamentals of NFTs.
Ticketmaster, your ticket's
for
gonna
tickets,
be a fucking NFT.
Airplane tickets.
I read a good Forbes article that said Louis Vuitton is going to make NFTs so you know if their bags are legit.
Authenticate bags. Exactly.
Are you selling me a fake? I'll check the blockchain.
Yeah, fantastic idea.
NFTs are great technology, and it's not new technology. Well, relatively new, but NFT art has only gotten big in the last maybe 6 months. Yeah. Longer?
I don't know. I've been watching NFTs for like 18 months now.
Okay. Yeah.
Sure. I'm saying like mainstream news.
Okay. Yeah, 6 months. So what you're telling me is if when I started watching NFTs, I made a profile picture project, I could be rich as fuck right now.
Well, dude, I
should have done it.
My TikTok algorithm is just I often
my TikTok, man, is literally NFTs, crypto.
That's what I get that's exactly half naked girls, dogs, and then
I don't get the dogs. I get cars and off-roading.
Okay.
NFTs, crypto. Stocks.
If your algorithm on TikTok is anything
K-pop,
no K-pop, surprisingly.
no K-pop, like
no
ass
K-pop.
and titties, just me.
No K-pop,
just you.
Just me.
If your algorithm on TikTok or Instagram Reels is anything related to business, you're probably gonna get the crypto scam fucking
nonstop.
Right?
And
I always see these fucking people that are like, all you have to do is buy an NFT, like find one that's like the floor is
0.08 ETH, then buy it now.
And then sell
pay
it
your
for that.
$200 in gas fees.
And then if you look into it, they're probably own the NFT, right?
Absolutely. What blows my mind is there's still a large population on the internet of people selling courses.
Don't even get me started, bro. I saw a course. I saw a post. I'm screaming on the inside.
Sorry about the mic quality, by the way.
I saw a post today. You know who I'm talking about. Lives in Thailand because he beat his wife.
I know who you're talking about.
Great, thank you.
This is the Winnipeg business community. We all know everyone.
We all know who
the
you're
rest.
talking
The
about.
rest of you can be ignorant. So he announced the course on his
$10,000.
Instagram. Probably. It was like, if you're confused about what's happening in the world today, NFTs, inflation, buy this course now.
Only 4 easy payments of $9.99.
None of that. Just was like, click here, right? To get into the webinar. It was like the open funnel, like the very, very top of the funnel.
To get the leads,
I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, I want to see this PowerPoint.
So you're
I
in the
want to
funnel
see
now.
this PowerPoint.
No,
Dude,
did you go into it?
Get in the funnel,
Oh,
bro.
you should.
Get on the list.
I should get on the
should.
list. I really
You
should.
Get the emails, bro.
I got someone
Get the
DM
retargeting ads.
someone DM'd me today actually, that I'm not friends with on Facebook, but I have like 60 mutual friends with, and they were like, "Hi Willows, I see you're involved in the Winnipeg real estate community." I'm not.
I got that like last week too. Actually,
It's like, here's a link to a course on how to raise. I get less. Are there less MLMs out there right now?
No.
Or do I just get approached less?
we are
You're less
out of
approach-
the MLM space.
Okay.
You and I are no longer
By being
in
successful
the game.
business people.
We're just not in the game anymore.
Yeah. Well, I used to get probably.
You're too old and not caring enough.
Yeah, you're not YPR anymore. You either got to be YPR or 40 years old and sell.
I probably used
Lulu
to get
Rose or whatever.
I probably used to get 10 DMs a month of people trying to sell
Really?
me. Yeah.
Dude, I've been out of the game for a minute. I don't get those anymore.
No, I don't get them either. That's
No.
what I'm
I
saying.
mean, like for 5 years now. I haven't.
This is
gotten them.
probably 3 or 4, like pre-COVID, but after I started the business. Because
Yeah,
I
fair
remember
enough.
I had a couple meetings in my office, like in my bar, or before it was the bar, when it was an office. I had a couple meetings of people trying to bullshit me.
Sign up for ACN or Amway.
Something like that. There was one, well, you remember this, the one that was fucking health pills, diet pills, but fucking, remember Blake cracked open one and there was like a worm in it? Do you remember that?
It wasn't Jeunesse. It was, oh shit. It's on the tip of my
You remember
tongue.
that though?
I know what
That
you're
whole
talking
situation.
about. Yeah, and there was a
So-
worm in the pill. Yeah.
It was this, this was after that, because that was in high school when that happened, when we were in high school. This was years after, and he most of these people that I met with were people that had seen at like hub events, like business networking events I thought were just trying to network. And then they bring out the fucking,
Hey, you can't hate, man, because you've been there.
when I was 16.
So you've been there.
But I can't hate because you know what? I will hate. The reason I got to where I am today is because of the hate. I will say that because the fucking nobody real would validate me.
100%.
Period.
Yeah.
And I will pass that favor on to the next motherfucker who tries to sell me. Okay, so
anyone who is interested in business when they're young has been involved or has friends that have been involved in multi-level marketing companies.
So I want to say the number one way, like this is just a general consumer advice piece. If you are looking at a supplement or anything you're going to put in your body or on your skin.
I put a lot of things in my body that I shouldn't
Aside
put in my
from
body.
those things, the things you ingest through your... Wait, I can't even say that. The mouth thing, yeah. Okay, if you're going to ingest it for health purposes...
Okay. Like the COVID vaccine, this fucking scam of a fucking globalist plot.
Anyways, so this takes 5 minutes on Google if you're old, 10 seconds if you're a Xennial. Look up the company, find where their manufacturing base is, find out where their corporation is licensed. Not very hard, like just kind of scroll through a couple things, the About Us, whatever, you gotta look on their website. If it's Utah, run the fuck in the other...
Yeah,
because it's for sure an MLM if it's Utah. I mean, alternatively, just Google the company name and then MLM at the end of it. Okay, but you know why?
Do you know why Utah?
Because the Mormons
Yes.
are good employees?
No. Yes and no. Utah does not regulate supplements. Period.
Interesting.
I could sell a bag of cement, put it in a capsule, and call it a supplement, and they would be like, sure.
So
cement coin, guys. It's not a pump and dump.
So
cement pill coin.
So Young Living, like the essential oils.
Yeah.
They sold, I shit you not, they sold Nightshade.
Oh yeah, I remember
essential
this.
oil.
They got sued.
Which was supposed to help put your baby to sleep. Yeah. Nightshade. You know what Nightshade is? Nightshade is the shit you grow in your garden. Yeah,
it kills you.
Yeah, you
it's
grow
poisonous.
it.
It's poison,
yeah, you grow it in your garden. You put it in your estranged
your husband's
spouse you want to kill.
This is some Romeo and Juliet.
It's
literally
it's untraceable in a blood test. The only way people get caught for killing someone with Nightshade is because it's growing in their flower garden. So Nightshade, fantastic way to kill people. Not great for babies.
Alcohol Beyond This Point podcast LTD does not condone giving anyone Nightshade, nor have we ever been convicted of giving people Nightshade in the past.
Convicted.
Yeah, convicted.
I mean, I've never been convicted of a crime.
So this was
bullshit.
No, I've never been convicted of a crime.
Have you been arrested?
I've never been convicted of a crime.
Have you been arrested?
I've never been convicted of a crime.
He's been arrested.
So one time, actually, so fun. No, I didn't get arrested that time. So one time, I got pulled over, and
is this driving back on 59 there? Back from the cabin.
That was a whole different thing. No. This is.
Did you guys get arrested for that?
No, I think I got detained there.
Just a stern talking to.
I've been detained 100 times.
Okay.
Detaining is not that bad. It's
detained is just cuffed up, put in the back seat.
They don't even half the time they don't even cuff. If they don't think you're dangerous.
Okay.
I've never once been handcuffed by a police officer.
But you've had a gun on your face.
No, that was an American police officer though.
Fair. That's
in your face.
He touched my skin with it.
That's like a level below handcuffs though. Handcuffs is an escalation from gun.
Okay, anyway, but
they shoot you first and then they handcuff.
One time, a cop was
and then throw a bag of meth next to you to say there's probable cause.
A cop was asking me questions, and he's like, "Have you ever been arrested before?" And I'm like, "No, I've never been convicted of a crime." Silence. He puts his sunglasses down onto his nose. That's not what I asked you. I'm very careful with my words.
Were you though? You could have said no.
I would never lie to a police officer, to my knowledge.
So you have been arrested.
I've never been convicted of a crime. I'll answer your question point blank. There is no public official record of me being arrested. No.
So you had it wiped. Got it.
What?
Got it.
So the idea of being arrested, I think, is overblown because,
fuck it.
Arrested is
liberals.
You were thrown in handcuffs and you were stopped from doing something that you were doing. It's not a conviction or an admission of any kind of guilt of doing any crime. Being arrested itself.
Yeah, but people remember accusations that don't remember convictions or overturns.
As a landlord, I would agree with you. I'd be like, "Oh, I see you have an arrest warrant."
Okay, well, arrest
warrant is different. Warrant is different.
It's different than I got arrested 6 years ago. That's a lot different than
I am wanted. I
am a wanted man.
Okay, so this is Ohio.
So how many doors did you own in Ohio?
350.
Yeah, so you had 350 doors in Ohio, and some of these fucking...
And how many were criminals?
Some of these fucking stories...
350.
No, some of these goddamn... someone shot somebody on his front lawn on one of the... things in it, and nobody called the cops.
No, fresh body on the yard. They're like, let's go to the next showing.
Yeah, and no one did anything all day. That was
there was no crime scene tape. It was just a body.
You had a lot of stories like that.
It's fine.
You spent a month and a half down there.
2.
Was it?
I wasn't there for I missed the body. I wasn't there for the body. That wasn't a personal experience. But I did reach a point of I'm so fucking sick of this, I probably could have died for it. But we had a house that got broken into 4 times in a row, 4 nights in a row.
Didn't they steal the furnace or something?
Well, that was the first night. So first night they broke in. Oh, no, sorry, that was second night. First night they broke in. So we're like, okay, we got to break in. Whatever, no big deal. Second night, break in, stole the furnace. We're like, oh, fuck, okay, now we're going to make a police report because we're a landlord and we have to. So I go make a police report, and I'm at the property waiting for the cops. And I'm like, the door's ajar. we locked this up last night. Like, Jesus fucking Christ. So I get out of the truck and I'm like, I might get shot. Fuck it. I was like at 10 out of 10 angry. I just booted the door open. I'm like, get the fuck out of this house. Like, I just started screaming, and I just like ran through the house with a flashlight trying to like make a bunch of noise and be like, oh, somebody's in here. I'm just gonna try to scare him out, right? There was nobody in the house, thank God. I probably would have been killed.
I wish.
But so the first night was hot water tank. This time they stole first night was furnace. Second night was hot water tank and like all the copper. So I'm like, fuck. Cops showed up, and then whatever, they took pictures and walked around and didn't do fucking anything because they're cops.
For
the night after, I went back again just to check on the property. I'm like, something probably happened. Yeah, so they came back, ripped all the wires out of the wall.
Perfect.
Can you even get money for that?
100% you can. 100%,
Scrap
bro.
wire?
You melt it down. Yeah, 100%.
I'm assuming same people 4 nights in a row. Probably weren't dangerous. Might have been my own contractors. So this house is fucking stripped. Was ready for tenants. Just big kick in the balls for these landlords. But I didn't really appreciate it before I went there.
Oh yeah, because you were property management, not
owner.
Didn't own the company.
Well, we owned probably 35, 40 of them.
Okay.
The rest we were proxy
Yeah.
management, but we flipped most of them though. But anyway, so this house, I drive down the street and like the landlord's like, why the fuck does this happen to me? Like, my life is ending. The owner was a children's book author from Israel, and like had sold a shit ton of books and like wanted to put their
and then he asked a financial advisor, how do I diversify? And they're like, buy real estate in America.
Right, no, they said buy real estate, and then they found some asshole in the UK who said buy real estate in America, and here's a asset that'll pay you 18%. Red flag. Period. So this person...
Yeah, nothing will pay you 18% except WillowsCoin.
WillowsCoin, guys, it's only going up.
Don't put your money into anything over 12%. There's probably like I shouldn't say anything over 12%. I hate to put numbers to things. The risk is equal to the payout. Period. People don't understand that as a fundamental idea, and I'm sorry.
If you're giving other people money to manage, or like
no,
because every single venture I've ever done myself has made thousands of % of
right,
return.
but I've sat with you on the curb while you cried, and you're like, I'm going out of business tomorrow.
I don't think I was crying.
But the risk is equal to the reward. Period. If you don't understand that, you're a fucking moron.
Business isn't risky. People are just dumb.
So this person didn't understand that. But anyways, when I was driving down the road to this house to like go check on it, I didn't like it's the term of when you look on like Google Maps or like satellite view, you got to find. I mean, they never do fucking street view there, because why would you? You look at satellite images. You check the year. Obviously, it's 2018, 2019, 2020, something recent. You see how many missing teeth there are. So what you're looking for is missing teeth. So what missing teeth means is the number of properties that have become vacant and the city has demolished and turned into a vacant lot. So the city of Cleveland is roughly 60 to 70,000 homes behind schedule for demolition. It's kind of like surgeries in Manitoba. So if
Subtle.
if you're looking at a street with missing teeth, this is decrepit, matured. This was decrepit a decade ago, maybe 3.
Does that make it a good investment though?
No.
Makes it a bad
you know what
investment.
happens adjacent to vacant lots?
What?
Crimes.
Hey, that's racist.
It's not. It's a fucking fact. Yeah, crime happens to adjacent lots because there's no witnesses, right?
Oh, vacant lots are the problem. We should make vacant lots illegal. We should get foreign.
It's not the criminals.
We should get foreign real estate investors to fill the vacant lots, and then that will solve. And then that will solve crime.
Okay, so I had this one.
Before you continue on.
Yeah.
Do you guys have a bathroom?
No, we shit in the yard.
Okay, I'm on it.
Go out the door, left.
First left and go to the door.
Okay, guys, we're back. Welcome to Zoppa Business Behind the Scenes. I've got my guest Willows here.
Actually,
and Tyler
I
Bergen.
do want to mention that. Okay. Here's something I was going to say right off the top, and then I forgot. Congratulations, you're an engaged man.
Oh, yes.
I didn't even know this.
As of like this week.
Yeah, I didn't post about it on Facebook or anything.
Yeah, your
and I don't
girlfriend
use
posted about it too
Snapchat,
much, so.
Snapchat or Instagram like you fancy fellows over here. But
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You've been dating for
10 years.
10 years, yeah. So fucking whatever.
It was expected.
You know, so I went to high.
I was gonna say, the word might be overdue.
So
if you asked her.
So I went to high school with Zoppa and his girlfriend, and they
fiance.
Oh fuck! Damn it! They used to share pants. They would wear the same skinny jeans, like red or blue skinny jeans, because they.
So on the topic of skinny jeans,
that's adorable. I can't because my girlfriend's too thick.
No, Zoppa's too thick.
Anyway, I was wearing a pair of black skinny jeans the other day, and honestly, I've not gone wardrobe shopping, clothing shopping in 12 years. Not exaggerating. Like I do not shop. I get socks and underwear for Christmas. Everything else I have is either a gift or it's clothing from high school or junior high. I still wear that. Anyways, I threw on a pair of pants the other day, which were clearly from either junior high or I got really big.
From the ska era.
Because they were tight and she made me get rid of them. That's how tight they were.
Shame. So I was going to say, you currently do have a podcast? Used to?
Inactive
podcast. But so it was here's the problem. Your podcast relied on having guests.
Yes and no. I mean, there was a few episodes where I would just ramble.
How many episodes were I on though?
5.
So here's what happened. He used to, if he didn't have a guest for that week, he'd be like, "Well, I don't have a guest for that week. Come on, the fucking podcast."
Yeah, it was
a good time.
So there's one dude, I did almost 100 episodes of that, I think.
And you had some big.
There was one episode though, which was my favorite, which was. It's like episode number 50 or 80 or something like that, where I entered a pitch competition.
Oh, yeah.
And
it was really good. Yeah,
I recorded the night before because I entered the pitch. I signed up for the pitch competition the night before it actually was scheduled to happen. So the night before I started, I was driving around and I recorded myself like practicing my pitch, which I was just freestyling. And then in the gym the next morning before the pitch competition, this was back when I worked out and wasn't fat like I am now, not fitting my skinny jeans.
This is a 110-pound man. Tyler and Zoppa are the skinniest men I know.
So in the gym I'm recording it. On the way there I'm recording it. I had a mic. Oh, they're deciding on shots right now for you.
We should take one right now while he's talking.
Yes, right now.
We're taking a second shot.
3, 2, 1, cheers.
It's only see here.
So while I'm
when it's less than 40%, we take more than one.
While I'm at this competition, I had a lapel mic on and I recorded everything and sent all of that to a dude out of Serbia who I hired on Fiverr.
You had a weird Fiverr guy who editing your fucking podcast.
Edited all my podcasts. I remember that. Yeah.
That was fun.
So we had like a Google Drive set up. I would send raw files in there. He would move it over to the finished section ready to be uploaded when it was done.
I remember when you...
Like, it was all smooth. It was smooth.
I remember when you made
that episode was great.
You paid a Fiverr guy to make a logo for you, and he incorporated the tattoo you have on your arm.
But okay, so that's weird.
The tattoo. It was this weird synchronicity.
Because
I had that in my head. I don't know.
There's no picture of my forearm tattoo anywhere, which is simply just a triangle. Like I have a triangle tattooed on my forearm, but there's no picture of that anywhere online that I'm aware of. And especially at that time because it was a fairly new tattoo.
5 years ago.
Yeah. And somehow he put a triangle as like a main part of the logo, which was interesting to me because like
that's still I think about that every so often when I talk about synchronicity.
Yeah,
where that was just like the weirdest
thing. Like, why would he throw a triangle randomly in the center of the logo?
Yeah.
Kind of
it was like the same dimensions. Like,
yeah,
it was like
exactly.
It was interesting.
But
is it an equilateral triangle?
Show you.
No, it is not. It is an
probably isosceles.
I think it's an isosceles triangle. Yeah. Oh no, is that a scalene? Scalene is 2.
Fucking nerds.
Well,
I don't know.
Honestly, if you took a measuring tape to it, these two are probably different lengths.
Okay, scalene is 2. The same isosceles all three different, right?
Yeah, it's probably isosceles, but it looks like a scalene.
Anyway, your podcast was mainly an interview podcast.
Mainly, yeah, business focused. But like I said, I did have some episodes where it was just me rambling in the car, or that pitch episode was by far my favorite. It was edited like NPR style, like with cool background music and stuff.
Yeah,
like I
liked it.
By far my favorite episode.
And
I ended up winning the competition. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you pitch?
Phone Squirrel, which was a call center idea for service-based businesses.
You were like pretty close to making that a real thing. If I recall.
Yeah, we tried it out.
Yeah.
So I've done pitch competitions more than once. I've never come closer than second, and everyone that's beaten me is fucking harebrained, stupid ass ideas. And the ones that I've pitched have always been real businesses, and I get really chapped because a real business loses to a fanciful idea that had
But it's about the pitch.
It's because it's all these liberal
Fuck off with your liberals.
No, okay, this is not a joke though. Okay, it's always these super environment business or feminist business that's they have to pick because they'll look hold on, I wasn't done. We'll switch in a second. Your podcast, we keep getting sidetracked.
Yes, my podcast.
You had a couple big people on it, which is good. Congratulations. Now we have because you're on our podcast, technically we have all your cumulative success on our podcast. Okay, whatever.
That's how that works.
So, but I just bought all your podcast equipment.
You did.
Yeah.
Not all of it, actually. I have quite a bit left over. But
okay, word. You were also getting paid for a little bit to edit
somebody else's
other
podcast.
Yeah.
And he's not around anymore, but it was completely outsourced. I did not touch, aside from going to the weekly, I think it was Tuesday marketing meetings in his office kind of downtown.
If you notice, my left arm is twitching at the sound of that.
So the weekly marketing meeting.
Did he get you that job?
In the board? No.
Was that just
Did
random?
you made the intro?
That was all me.
Okay.
But
he made the intro and got it done.
Between you two, so therefore it was my...
So I was making $5,000 a month off that.
Yeah, I know you were. I remember.
And it was completely outsourced, dude. Once I got into the swing of things, I had everything outsourced where I was paying somebody to find guests. They were getting a commission off finding guests. I was paying somebody to edit. I was paying somebody to upload and write descriptions. I was using Rev to do the transcriptions and upload it to the website. All of it was outsourced. So I was making $5,000 a month from the contract and paying out roughly half of it to people that were actually fulfilling 100% of the work. And I just had to go to a 1 hour meeting.
What were you netting?
Week. $2,500 a month,
yeah,
give or take.
Just to get talked at.
To get shitted on once a week for an hour.
I remember
dude, I'll take $600 an hour. That's what I was making.
I remember being jealous. Maybe not jealous, but I remember being this fucking guy.
Yeah.
That's so. I'm so glad you got a grift on this guy.
I listened to one of our episodes of our podcast, your podcast, I forget why it came up, but I'm I want to... So I just threw it on the background while I was doing something, when I was working on something. And it's so funny because back then, right 2017, 18, when I was right new in business, I was so cagey with you'd be yeah, tell me your numbers. And I'm no, I don't want to say how many.
It really doesn't matter who knows and who doesn't know.
But it's interesting. It was just interesting, my perspective. I'm I don't want to talk about that, and I don't want to do this, and it was just it was interesting.
What's crazy to me about that time is there was a group of guys who came in 6 months after I started editing that podcast for that person, and they came in and started running all the media for them, and then seized a couple other opportunities. And these guys are now...
I was going to bring this up, yeah.
Millions of dollars a year they're making.
I think they're over 30 million this year.
That's insane.
What they made between the three of them.
So so dial this back.
That's before their NFTs, which are probably pushing over 50.
Dial this back. You explain to the audience, you were netting $2,500 Canadian a month, and doing almost no work.
Yeah, a 1 hour weekly meeting.
Explain to the audience how that, because that's a fucking side hustle if I've ever heard one.
You just explained it.
No,
Yeah,
I know,
so-
but like,
so-
how do you find these people that you're outsourcing to?
Know me.
Huh?
What do you mean, no me?
Be friends with me.
Yeah, well,
Oh, okay.
our listeners are not friends with
Okay,
me,
so that was to get the contract. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. But moving forward after that, like actual production of it and management of it was,
Have competency of something that's novel and new.
yeah, exactly. Basically that, but that's also landing the contract. Like the management of it was, I knew somebody who was in a band who was good at editing.
Podcasts weren't that big back. That was like 5
No,
years ago.
no,
right?
it was novel and new.
Yeah, because we started a podcast during COVID, which is when everyone started a podcast.
Dude, I don't know if I'm just always on the precipice of things, but I've been listening to podcasts for like 10 years at this point, man.
Yeah.
Like, and
I feel
probably
like
longer. Like, podcasts are not new to me.
Well, dude, I have a lot of music that's like physical files because there's a ton of shit I used to listen to that's not on Spotify and just never will be because I listen to a lot of like indie rappers that just will never get their shit on Spotify.
Yeah, he's hip.
Because they're stealing beats and stuff, right? No, so I move over all my music to new hard drives, like to back it up. And I remember it was like Joe Rogan Experience episode 24. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. Like, and it's him and Brian Redband, like, on a fucking 180p
yeah.
fucking webcam on a MacBook. Like, how far podcasts have come.
Yeah.
Like,
honestly, what's crazy to me about that whole scenario is, yes, it was great money for the time it was happening. And then these guys came in and they started running the marketing there for that business. And
they blew up, like, for context, they blew up the social media of this client from, like, he was stagnant. He was probably gaining about 1,000 a year in followers. So he was stagnant at about, like, 6,000-7,000. And then they blew it up from 7,000 to 100,000 in, like, less than 12 months.
yeah. And from that point forward have gone on to make 30 mil this year, which is insane.
So
like that's mind blowing.
They gave away 30 Teslas this year.
Really?
In YouTube giveaways, they gave away 30 Teslas.
Really?
Yeah, with like
honestly, I don't follow
with
them
like
at all.
with like DaBaby and like a bunch of
Yeah.
like big ass artists. Yeah.
So how does that? Maybe we shouldn't dig into that. I was gonna say, how does that whole giveaway thing work? I know people pay to.
Yeah, it's basically
be
a pay.
shouted
It's
out people.
yeah, it's like a pay to play. So the giveaways are actually net positive on. It's like a raffle idea. It's basically a raffle. So that's the business model of giveaways is basically raffles, and also you're just paying. It's paid for promotion. So the paid for promotion contracts are often a lot bigger than the cost of a car. So the cost of a car is just kind of like a token. So there's a lot of ways to do it. But yeah, these guys, they just fucking blew up. They threw massive parties in like Miami in the middle of lockdowns and stuff.
as one does.
Yeah, as one does. They made a fuckload of money on BitClout. So you know what BitClout is?
I've never.
I was
going to
bring this up. This is a shitcoin of shitcoins. So it's basically where it's like a mix between a shitcoin and Patreon, where you can buy like a crypto coin of a person that you support. So it's like Bitcoin but clout.
WillowsCoin.
Right. You literally go on BitClout and
Search up
create
Willows.
WillowsCoin.
Oh, and then if people buy
So guys,
WillowsCoin,
up,
you
up
get
into
money?
the right,
but
we
they're-
are investing heavily into WillowsCoin.
Yeah. So, but their coin got into like four or five figures per coin. So, but
What was the market cap?
I don't know. I never saw that, but I didn't look deeply into it. But like $10,000, $12,000, $15,000 a coin. So, but they got there by having like these big artists. Like I think they had like, was even like Lil Nas being like, "Hey, I just bought 3 fucking high key BitClout coins," and they would post that shit, and that would blow up. Like that's some of their money. But also keep in mind, these 3 brothers that are all whatever stereotypical fucking tall white dudes are trust fund babies. Their dad's worth tens of millions of dollars.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
They're
that at all.
fucking rich. They're loaded before they got to this point.
Do you think that help them?
100%. When you have nothing to lose, all the disposable money you need, all the backing you could want, and the fucking confidence that comes with that, yeah, you can make
Probably
it.
connections
You can
too, right?
in that specific industry. Fuck yeah, you can make it. If you're 6'5", white, athletic, your dad's worth $20 million, like you put all that together, your odds are better, but also obviously they're good at what they do. So
Yeah, you can't discredit them.
no, you can't discredit them, but you also can't
Well, I've said
discredit.
it before. It's never.
You can't discredit all the ups they got.
It's never one thing, right? Like
Yeah.
people that get super successful always have a few things.
I will also
And there's
yeah.
there's sometimes super poor people with no family connections, no ties, no clout that get rich because they have, intelligence and skill and work ethic.
Which would be
Then there's
this
people with-
which would be this client that elevated them to that status, and also that client owned 50% of the business. He financially backed it. He gave them 6 figures.
Anyway, we should probably transition here into our final segment of the day,
I think
where
I kind of knew that, but
Tyler
It's
and
good to
I-
have the loop closed.
yeah.
The accountant's my friend.
where Tyler and I give you business tips of something that we are currently going through in business. We'll go first in case Zoppa is giving me eyes right now and he doesn't have
No,
a
I
tip.
got a tip.
Oh, okay. You want to go first?
Sure.
Okay.
No matter what you pay, people don't want to work.
Do you want to elaborate? we talked.
That's fucking good.
We talked about this off camera. but
That's like an
just
antithesis to my point.
elaborate quickly because we talked about this off camera and I found it interesting.
Our company-wide minimum wage is $20 an hour.
Jesus.
So we do not have an employee. So there's a 30-day probation period from when you're hired.
course.
You make $15 an hour for 30 days, and then you're up to $20 an hour.
Yep.
But in my eyes, we do not have an employee that makes less than $20 an hour.
Yeah.
Everybody
like
makes
my-
$20 an hour or more.
It's kind of
up
like
to
my people. We have
yeah.
$15 an hour, but we have a bonus structure, and some of them earn like $30 an hour
yeah.
with the bonuses.
Yeah, we have the same in the summer where guys have made like 40, 50, 60 bucks an hour. We've had crazy days where guys have made $100 an hour for
You have like
full
a
day.
profit share kind of thing? Not something like
That's
that.
the
right?
idea. It's
Yeah,
performance.
I remember
profit
you
share,
talking about this with you. Yeah.
So, anyways, it's not a tip. It's more of a struggle.
Yeah, no, share it. Like people.
Well, why does nobody want to work right now? We're not a shitty place to work, dude. I'm the most chill boss in the world. Like, I've never yelled at an employee. Well, okay, like twice in my life. In like 6 years, I've yelled at an employee.
He deserved it. I know who you're talking
I
about.
told the story.
Like-
I told the story on this podcast about you dropped the guy off at a bus shack and flipped him bus change.
This was the dude who wouldn't work because he needed smokes or something.
No, there. Okay, I might be wrong, but how I remember it, you had someone who was like this fucking kid, like he was older than you, so
Yeah.
he didn't respect your authority.
and he wouldn't work unless I bought him smokes.
Well, I don't know. I didn't know that part, but
Yeah,
It was
Yeah,
something-
it was that too. Yeah, like
And
he
he was
wouldn't work
working-
that day unless I went out and bought him some. Anyways,
He was
dude.
working-
That's like the we've had way worse.
and you dropped him off at a bus stop and
Yeah.
flicked him $2 and said, "Take a bus home. You're fired."
yeah, like we've had way worse.
That's one of my. I tell that story all the time.
That's worth the stories.
Yeah, but yeah, like $20 an hour. I mean,
Well, I
we
guess-
live in Winnipeg.
so-
it's a low cost of living
No,
city.
that's-
$20 an hour
that's
is
a-
quite a bit.
that's a
In
good
California, that's crap wages.
That's above the median income.
Yeah.
Median income is like 37.
Okay, so that's what 18 and a half. Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're paying above market wage
For
non-educated work.
unskilled labor.
Do you no criminal record check or anything like that?
No criminal record check. You need a driver's license.
Yeah, of course.
That's literally the requirement. You
Yeah.
need to have a license
I don't
and
do criminal
the
record
ability
checks.
to get to our shop to work.
the only reason I would do a criminal record check is because depending on what the crime is, I'm surprised when people get caught. I'm like, how? I'm like,
Are you a fucking moron?
yeah. I'm like, how do you have shoplifting on your fucking record?
Yeah. How did you not get away with
Like,
that?
how did you not talk your way out of that? Like, you stole from Walmart. They pressed charges. How dumb are you? Like, that's the only reason I would do it. But like, I have felons working for me. It's a whole thing.
Equal opportunity
No, fuck it.
employer.
Like, dude, I don't respect the government. I don't respect their laws. As long as you are not hurt, like I victimless crimes, I think should just be fine, right? So anyone who's I own a winery. You know what that is? State-sanctioned drug dealing. Alcohol kills more people in this fucking country than any other drug. Period. You know what I think people should be able to do? Get fucking blasted on wine. You know what I think people should be able to do? Get fucking blasted on meth if they want to. That's their prerogative. Fuck off. People that, like, fucking... We always seem like white supremacists because we quote Joe Rogan all the time, but Joe Rogan was saying... someone was asking him about when Elon Musk smoked the weed on his show. Yeah. He's like, we were drinking whiskey that entire episode.
Nobody said shit about the whiskey. Yeah.
Until we lit up a joint. And mind you, that's legal in California.
Yeah.
But why is that a problem? And you were drinking whiskey, no one gives a fuck. Alcohol kills more people in this fucking country than any other drug combined.
And if you want to put weed on that scale, you're on meth.
Yeah. So I don't give a shit about criminal record. But okay, but your point being, you don't do criminal record checks. You don't even no education, you don't give a shit about that. Neither do I. And you're paying above market wage and people are still not working for you?
It's tough. Yeah, it's tough to find employees right now.
Like, how long has this been going
on? Since the start of COVID. And at the beginning of COVID, I blamed it on CERB and government benefits.
So if you're listening in Futureland, COVID's been going on around 22 months, 21 months.
21 months, I'd say. Like March would be the start. So that'd be 24. So you're 21 months.
About 21 months. And CERB is a lot of our I look at our Spotify statistics.
Yeah,
like 75% of our listeners are American.
So CERB would be like the Biden bucks and the Trump bucks that you guys got.
We got like $40,000 of stimulus. They got like $1,500 one time or something.
No, they got
stimmies.
They got federal top ups. Or sorry, if you could get state unemployment and then federal would top up. So if you were eligible for like $300 a week of state, federal would top up an extra $5.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah, so they got stims. Don't worry about it.
My point being, why do you think people don't want to work?
Well, yeah, originally it was CERB. Yeah. Now that CERB is effectively over, I mean, now it's some shit where you get $300 every 2 weeks or something.
No,
so that's
so the federal program that we have in place right now in Canada, not a single Canadian qualifies for.
Oh, perfect. Why not?
Because the Minister of Health or whatever, the federal one, has to declare your region a lockdown region. Has not done that.
Perfect.
So they
so there's no current stimmies for these people.
Correct.
So I can't use that as an excuse anymore as why people don't want to work. But it's not just us. Like, it's not just us that are feeling. It's literally everybody is feeling the pinch.
Why do you think that is?
Yeah, as a contractor, we'll verify.
Why do you think
Zillennials don't want to work?
No, not true. Zillennials to boomers don't want to work.
What do you mean? They don't want to work for boomers?
No.
Or are you saying everyone doesn't want to work?
The age group is irrelevant.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we mainly hire Zillennials. We've got a couple older people now who are actually amazing employees. Shout out those guys. They're great.
How many people do you have working for you?
I'm going to be honest. The turnover rate is really high in the winter.
Of course.
I don't know how many we have working
I like that answer. That's an honest fucking answer.
Less than 50?
Yeah, way less than 50.
More than 10?
Yeah, more than 10.
Less than 30?
Yes.
More than 20?
No.
Okay, so
15, call it. Okay. But I'm going to say, honestly, we have one person disappear a week and add a person a week, or maybe have two disappear 1 week and add three the next week.
And that's the thing that happens with low barrier to entry. You just have people that's like...
And also it's seasonal work, and there hasn't been snow, so we can't give shifts, but we need the people available for when there is shifts. So that's tough. I understand that. So it's perfect work for people who have other seasonal jobs. They're in construction, they're in road construction, they're roofers, they are landscapers.
I hire a lot of students.
Yeah.
That are because our busy season is in the summer. We do a lot of farmers markets and stuff, so I hire students that are off for the summer.
Perfect.
And then they go back to school, and I basically fire them. And then some of them will come back, some of them haven't, kind of thing, right? So I understand the kind of cyclical nature of the.
Yeah, my last 2 hires are, one's a stucco guy, one's a landscaper, both summer jobs.
Yeah.
They both seasonally have like been looking for winter work last 2-3 years, but they are both like crew leaders. They both run sites that they're on, so they're like top of I guess pay scale of their businesses. But after like 2 months of working with us for their quote unquote winter job, neither of them want to go back to their summer job, so it's like fucking mission accomplished. So like renegotiating next year contracts with them, so like getting retention from winter workers. It's like what
do people make for you?
As a helper, it's I think it's like, as a helper, I think it's like 18 to 24 an hour.
Are they union?
No.
Okay.
Helper is 18 to 24 when you're a quote unquote.
Is this a skilled trade?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So there's like, you can take courses.
No. Courses were abolished for equality purposes. Kind of a long story, but basically, there was initially like a qualification process for tile installers, kind of along the same strain as like masons, but because there was so many skilled tile people coming from Europe that were not certified in this province but were equally or greater level of skill, they couldn't get jobs. So they just like abolished the entire union and the entire certification process for the sake of like giving equal opportunity to new immigration, and they just never reinstated it. This is like, a few decades ago. So there's no standards. There's building standards. There's courses. There's
build shit to standard or else
right. There's unofficial certifications, like getting your like business degrees. There's like a bunch of like side certifications, but there's no central standard for our trade. But it is a highly skilled trade in the same way that like,
and you're gonna know first day if they don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Right. Yeah. So you can be a carpenter, but fucking incompetent at finished carpentry. You can have your full carpenter certificate. You can be a red seal. You can be a journeyman. You can be fully certified, but be completely incompetent as a finished carpenter. Finished carpentry is not its own trade, but it is entirely separate from carpentry. So we're kind of in the same realm where we're entirely separate from masonry, we're entirely separate from carpentry, but we kind of take from all those.
Do your employees, Zoppa, do snow removal, and do you have people that do both all year?
Year round? Yeah. We got
and they just switch back and forth between lawn care and snow removal?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
One last thing about your tip of the day versus your gripe. Do you think it's going to get better?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. People will go back to work.
Because I'm in the doomer. I don't think it is. I think we're fucked.
So here's the thing. When people do want to go back to work, you know what will cause that? The economic downturn. And you know what will be the result of the economic downturn? A lack of work. It is a catch-22. When the employees want to start working again, that's when there will be way less work and way less opportunity to give those employees work. Right now, we have an abundance of work. We've turned down hundreds of thousands of dollars of work in the past 12 months. Fun fact,
I asked him, because that big snow we had in November, I was like, you know what? I'm making a little bit of money now. This is fucking dumb that I just spent 2 hours busting my ass shoveling my driveway. Zoppa, give me a quote. He told me to fuck off. He said, I am literally so busy right now, I can't even estimate. I'm like, I'll go to your competitor. He's like, do it.
Well, that's what it's like right now. That's what it's like right now. And we were talking off air at the beginning. We turned down, I would lowball $300K this year of work, like conservatively $300,000 of work, because we didn't have staff. So I was telling Willows, this past fall, we had every day without fail, we had 6 trucks sitting in the parking lot not working during the day because we didn't have people to drive the trucks. and go out and work. But we had to work.
See, and that's what
we didn't have people to go work.
That's what happened to me at the beginning of my operation. I didn't have enough inventory to keep up with sales.
Yeah.
Where I didn't have, I remember writing proposals to try and loan money from people because I think I loaned money from you a couple times.
Yeah, I need to dig into that and see if we actually squared up properly.
I squared you up. Fuck you.
I don't know if we did square up
100%
properly.
I squared up properly.
I don't know. I was faithful, but I don't know.
I would assume they did because they had the same loan with me and they did.
Yeah, I also took loans from...
yeah, but you got paid back way earlier.
So here's the thing.
Mine was like a year after.
Both of you.
And there was supposed to be interest on it, and I don't think I got the interest on it.
Okay, number one, the only reason I am... I don't remember any of the terms, but the reason I'm confident
That's
is
the other
because
guy.
Zach is so autistic that...
he would not be able to do it wrong.
Wrong numbers in his head, he wouldn't be able to do. He wouldn't let it happen. It would be bugging him.
He screams at me if I do it wrong, up or down.
Because the math wouldn't work in his head. So 100%, my business partner. But everyone in this room besides me has loaned me money at some point because at the beginning of my operation, all of you remember, I was literally, the liquor stores were trying to buy more from me and I couldn't make it.
Yeah.
I didn't have the money to make the product. I was tens of thousands of dollars a month. I was saying, sorry, I can't sell you. There were like 80 cases. I'm like, I can do 40 because I didn't have enough. And that's mostly on me because I started a manufacturing operation with $50. If I had started with 500 Gs, I could
be a lot easier.
I could have just floated all the inventory, right? Now I'm getting better at that, and now COVID's fucking me again, and I have to. But that's a whole nother story. But it's the same thing where it's like if you have a fucking truck that should be working, but you can't get people to drive it. It's
sitting there, not really costing because most of them are paid off, but it's costing you money.
It's opportunity cost though. It's money left on the table.
It is costing you money.
No, I would say 100%. That truck working, 8 to 16 hours a day, depending on your shifts, to 24 hours a day, that lost revenue is, I would say,
it's opportunity cost.
Is opportunity cost.
It is quite 100%. A bit.
So business tip of the day?
For me, I would say take it personally when your employees come to you for a raise, and if it's in a position where they're like, I want or I need to make this amount of money, and you say you're not currently earning enough in my company to justify that, I can only pay you this much, and you have to bid lower, versus you going to them and say, hey, I'm going to give you a raise because you've elevated a bunch over the last period of number of months, and you come to an agreement, right? There shouldn't, when you have that dissonance, I know people will typically blame the employee and say, you know what, you should have leveled up, you could have learned more, you could have whatever, and you just aren't earning enough money for me, that's your fucking fault. You hit the ball back in their court. The way I take this as, because I'm principally in charge of training new staff and also just generally managing operations. So when I have people under me that are, making not enough money, but they are capable of making more money elsewhere with other trades that they're more skilled in, I see it as, okay, they're not making enough money under me because they don't have the skills, right? They are not autonomous enough, they are not skilled enough, they are not fast enough, they're not whatever, name a thing. And
20% skill, 15% concentrated power of will.
That's what I tell them every time they ask for a raise. I just wrap that.
It's 5% pleasure, 50% pain, and 100% reason to remember my name.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
You can't get that raised, bitch. No. So when I have this,
that's how I got stabbed.
So when I have this conversation,
with a tile saw,
I take it. You have to take it personally, because if I want this person to earn $50,000 a year, I have to level him up to become a $50,000 a year earner, and
it's a good way to interpret it. Actually,
it's the only way to interpret it, because you know who sandbags employees? The employers. Yeah. Like, if left to their own devices, most people are pretty, innovative and enterprising, and if, left to, do or die. I got to get this done. You put them in an impossible situation, which entrepreneurs do to themselves willingly, and then come out on the other side and say, "Look at fucking me, I got it done." If virtually most people could do that, they just don't have the willpower necessarily to do so.
I watch a
or
lot
the
of,
risk tolerance.
We both watch a lot of Kitchen Nightmares.
Yeah,
with Gordon Ramsay, and you always when he's like when the owner isn't the chef, they like have a chef employed, but they're making shitty food. And then Gordon asked the chef, "Why the fuck are you doing this?" They're like, "Because the owner tells me to."
Yeah.
My hands are tied.
Yep. 100%.
That's how that's fucking done. Like it's like, can you not make your own fucking meatballs? He's like, "Yeah, I can. They just tell me to fucking buy frozen ones." Like, I don't know. Same kind of thing where it's like, if you're saying no, you're a 30 grand employee, you do this fucking job like a 30 grand employee,
and I don't trust you to do more.
That's how they're going to do, even if they're skilled enough to not to be hired.
Most of the time they can go beyond what you trust them to. It's the same way raising kids. People, when they raise kids, they always will assume that they're less mature, less capable than they are, period. That's just, people are not very perceptive. So I go to the default of like, I'm at fault, I don't know what I'm doing, you're more qualified than I assume you are. I will always front way more trust than is warranted, and
that's why we're friends.
Give them the opportunity to lose the trust.
I will stress, like I did this today, I will stress the fuck out of my employees. Like I will, to get them to the point where they're like literally on the edge of panic because I put so much risk on them. Like we're doing $1,000 slabs today, $1,000 per tile, and I was getting my new guy to I'm like, all right, you do it, and I turned my back and I'm like working on something over here, and he was doing it behind me, and I'm like half paying attention, and he fucked up 3 times in a row, 3 out of 3, fucked him up. Was so pissed. Was so mad.
You were so pissed, or he was so pissed?
He was.
Okay.
I was fine. My mood or my temper never elevates. That's kind of the joke. You can never fucking frazzle me.
I have frazzled them before.
Willows can. You're the only one. Fuck you. So I did him dirty today though. I didn't even realize this. It was really fucking mean of me. But I did it unintentionally. So we're snapping these slabs. And so basically you gotta you put this rail on with suction cups or whatever, you set it where it is, you score it with a cutting wheel, and then you snap the thing, you break it, and it's like a really scary moment when you have to break this fucking $1,000 tile exactly down the line. And there's like a 3-step process to it. So he did step 1, went okay, did step 2, went okay, step 3, boom, blew it out. 3 times in a row. I came along, I'm like, you know what, man? It's the last tile of the day. It's fucking Christmas. I'll just take over for you. Just go chill. I step 1, boom. Skip step 2, go to step 3, bang, perfect snap. I'm like, okay, let's go. And he just looks at me. He's like, you look offended. You look fucking hurt. And I'm like, what? He's like, you forgot step 2. I'm like, oh shit, yeah, I did. I'm like, sorry, I was feeling really confident. He's like, yeah, apparently. And he's like, he was fucking offended because I'm like, I jumped ahead in the process. I was so fucking confident. I just fucking blew this tile barehanded. I'm like, I broke it where I needed to. And he was like, that's rude. I'm like, yeah, no, that's fair. I'm sorry, man. I didn't mean to throw that in your face because you're struggling and I just fucking threw this in your face. It was like, that was not nice of me. I'm like, that was not intentional. But I pushed him to the point of stress where there was that emotional up and down in the day. Most employers would have been like,
I'll just do it.
This is a stressful thing. You know what? I'm going to just take it. Whatever. You go over there. You help me. You clean up over there. You do this. You do that. You work around me.
Yeah.
I intentionally put him in this ridiculous position.
You know what's something that's kind of related that I know you do? That I remember you told me this. I thought it was genius. When an employee calls you with a problem,
15-minute rule,
and you would tell them, I'm in the middle of something, I'll call you back.
Yeah.
And then you call them back.
By the time you call them back, they've sorted it out. Yeah. 99 times out of 100, they'll figure their shit out if they know you're unavailable.
I started doing that.
I just don't answer the phone now, honestly.
Yeah. I started doing that with my people, and it works.
Because they'll figure it out.
They need to make a fucking decision.
They're leaning on you as a crutch when they can just figure things out themselves.
I think we actually figured this one out together. You had a conversation with me. you called me and you're like, how do I get my employees to stop calling me all the time? And I think we just like fucking workshopped this over the phone.
It's a good fucking tip.
But then you implemented the 15-minute rule, and then you told me about it. I'm like, oh god, that's amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like through
some kind of like give your employees,
give them power. They deserve it.
give them enough rope to hang themselves with.
Yeah.
That's the
none of us. We're all fucking uneducated idiots.
Yeah.
Like we're all fucking.
What I always tell my guys is, I'm like, I've been doing this trade a year and a half. You've been here 2 months. Like, the learning curve is steep. I'm like, I'm going to run you through the fucking gauntlet and work you until you fail. And if you can hit the quote-unquote installer level, which means you're pretty much, like, I can give you an address, tell you a thing that you're doing, and you can get it done, and I don't have to look over your shoulder, and I can, inspect it later and say, okay, you got it done adequately. That wage bracket starts at 50 grand, hits like 80,000 at its peak. For a trade, that's pretty fucking good.
That is pretty good.
And because we're in the luxury market, we can capitalize that. And these guys are working fucking landscaping stucco where their cap is like
40, maybe 50.
Is like 40 to 50, yeah. And I'm like, your starting is 50 to 80.
I know.
I like
I don't know stucco, but landscaping, yeah.
I like it.
some
I like it.
Some crew leads can get up to 70, 80 in landscape construction.
You can, yeah. But
I like you guys are experts.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, but like it's possible all trades
I know what a logger is.
Yeah, all trades kind of have equal space in terms of salaries, but ours is pretty fucking enjoyable. Landscaping sucks. You're fucking moving. You're moving 80-pound. Dude, you're moving 80-pound pavers. You're shoveling. Like, it's hard for labor.
Yes.
I'm not saying it sucks as business. I'm saying it sucks as labor. Stucco sucks as labor, especially in Canada.
If I have to cut my own lawn, I will literally kill myself.
Sure.
Dude, we blew up a lawnmower in your backyard.
I know you. So I
really?
Yeah. Here's a good one.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it caught on fire in your backyard.
And he personally had to come back to fix it. Well, we all know this story. I have to tell him this story. Okay, here's what I'll do. I'll edit it out of order.
Let's just keep going. We can roll with him over there because we got to wrap it up soon. Because I got to go to bed, man. I got to be up in like 3.5 hours.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'll do my business tip of the week and then tell the story when he gets back.
Okay.
Flip them.
Business tip of the week.
So my business tip of the week, I'm going to quote the Canadian philosopher Shane Bunting, aka Mad Child from Swollen Members.
Okay.
Be loyal to your fans and always tell the truth in interviews. I had 3 interviews today. I was on TV for one of them, radio for another. And there was a couple leading questions they had where I could have been, I don't know what their intention was, but like there was a couple times where I was like, they were asking me, how bad is this, like, these new orders going to be for you? Like, and they were trying to kind of not push me, but like be like, are you going to go out of business? Are you going to fucking do all that? And I'm like, well, no, I'm still up from last year. But I had this like debate in my head where I was like, okay, I can say whatever the fuck I want. No one can fact check me, right? No one can look at my books. No one knows how well I'm doing. And I could say, yeah, you know what? I'm fucked right now. I'm going bankrupt. And the government, and I could be like, the government is putting me out of business. And I could aggressively paint that picture and probably get money and probably come out on top for that. But I was thinking to myself, and I'm like, just, not even just integrity-wise, but just like continuity-wise. I'm going to tell the truth from the start to the finish. Even though I embellish stuff sometimes and get numbers wrong, but that's besides the point. But I think consistency and honesty and flexing is different, you know what I mean? But like about the facts, I think that's important. So be loyal to your fans and always tell the truth in interviews.
I think that's a great business tip of the day.
Thank you. And then, so the story.
Yeah, honestly, I don't even remember the story
I
too
do.
much. Okay, perfect. You tell.
My lawn was getting pretty jungly. None of us.
This is one of those years that it rained.
No, I didn't have a lawnmower. I didn't own one. Yeah. That was the thing, is I didn't have a lawnmower. And I kept putting it off. And then I'm like, fuck, okay. Because I used to...
Like my haircut.
Yeah, well... I used to and still do, I guess. I'd like trade Zoppa something for lawn care because you weren't doing it. You just added it to your route, and one of your employees would cut my lawn. I had a fucking small yard. It was like whatever, right?
You're talking about grassy before?
Yeah, grassy. So I would be, it was like he would be like, oh, okay, yeah, fucking post my Facebook page and be like, oh,
yeah,
they did my lawn care.
Was...
And that was like what we called even, right?
Yeah.
But then I moved in here in Charleswood, and I have like 0.8 of an acre behind me, right? And I even told you people, you don't need to cut it all. Just where we walk like the dog, basically. And, but I hadn't done it in a while, and it was getting pretty jungly. So I told you to bring a fucking riding lawnmower, and no one did, obviously. You brought a fucking push mower, and he got halfway down the lawn. And
no, they couldn't fit the riding mower in your gate.
No, you can go the other way.
No, you can't.
If you go through the neighbors, but my guys are always too scared to go through the neighbors.
Oh, right, yeah.
I told you Cheryl and Ryan will let you through. It's fine.
Yeah, they're always too scared.
Yeah, so, which is fair. I would
okay, so that was the time we blew out a push mower. We also blew out a riding mower in your backyard. Were you home for that one?
I don't think so.
I had to come down for that one, too. I don't know why your house is cursed, but
I remember you're like, I wasn't here. I was working, and you texted me, and you're like, okay, so here's the thing. I cut half your lawn. My mower literally exploded on fire. I'm coming back with my own lawnmower tonight. I'll do the rest.
Yeah.
I didn't know this happened a second time.
If that was maybe I'm thinking I think it's
all like one time.
But okay, so it wasn't a push mower then. It was a riding mower. Okay,
but it was
when I pulled up to your house, I could see smoke in the backyard from the front street. Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I drove like a fucking extra deep deck, like Toro 50-inch, which is like the creme.
You're talking about
that guy's mower, like creme de la creme of commercial mowers. There was a lot that damn near killed that mower. It was some divorced lady in Birds Hill who's like, my husband used to cut the grass and now it's July and I need you to catch up. It was like knee deep, but like was sod, so it was thick as fuck,
and wet, and
thick and it was so bad.
This is a lawn care podcast.
Yeah, fresh blades on it, set to the highest setting, highest RPM, fucking slow as I could go. Was damn near stalling this thing. It took me probably 2.5 hours to cut this lady's fucking grass with a 50-inch Toro.
Yeah. So wait, you go to a lawn care conference every year?
Yeah,
not because of COVID, but
usually go to? There's a couple I go to. So there's one in 3 weeks that I would normally going to. Well, technically in Bellingham normally. This year it's in Ferndale. Ferndale's like 10 minutes outside of Bellingham.
Next time I'm in Ferndale.
Bellingham is like an hour and a half, 2 hours outside of Seattle.
What's the main city?
Seattle. So I fly into Seattle, hop in a rental car, drive up to Bellingham, stay in Bellingham, go to the conference in Ferndale. Yeah. So that's where
that's a lawn care conference.
It's called Landscape Summit.
Love it.
So I go to that one every January.
Okay, hold on. My question is, does anyone have a lawn care podcast then?
You have no idea, man.
There's probably like 62 lawn care podcasts.
The lawn care community on YouTube, bro. Yeah? You have no idea.
Oh god, they're talking about fucking lines and tire treads.
Okay. Well, as we get into lawn care that no one gives a fuck about, we're over 2 hours here, so I'm going to end this. Thank you for listening to Alcohol Beyond This Point. We really appreciate it. Zoppa, you were a good guest. I liked your little asides where you said WillowsCoin. It's going fucking up and to the right.
Up and to the right. So just so you guys know, it's not a pump and dump.
I like that. Sorry for the listeners that got this far that Tyler's mic sounds like a tin can.
If Willows does his job, it will sound good. But we all know he won't do his job.
Zoppa spent an hour and a half trying to set up this mic and failed horribly. So I will have it set up for next time. I would love to have you back on the podcast. How does that sound?
Sounds good.
So this was he told me to send him a calendar invite on like Google Cal. And I said, Zoppa, business behind the scenes, X, Alcohol Beyond This Point collab is what the name of the thing was. So follow Zoppa Business Behind the Scenes on Spreaker.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
And,
it's everywhere, but
follow us on Instagram.
there's one episode, like I talked about earlier in the show, one episode, go find it. It's the pitch competition.
Yeah.
I just really like that episode.
Zoppa Business Behind the Scenes, Zoppa, Z for all you Americans.
Or the Zop.
Or Big Z, we call him all the time. No. We call your brother Big Z. His brother does electrical work for us. He's a
Oh, we love Big Z. Big Zap.
Anyway, but
Big Zap.
He's not very good at his job.
Alcohol Beyond This Point podcast on Facebook. Alcohol Beyond This Point on Instagram. My name is Willows. I'm here with Tyler, as always.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Tyler _Scram the Builder.
Yep.
And
Thank you guys for having me on.
yeah, of course.
Peace.
Bye.
The pleasure is all whiskey. That's a good sign off. The pleasure is all whiskey.
Alcohol Beyond This Point podcast.
This isn't two podcasters talking business. This is two business guys trying to podcast.